Hi friends, and welcome back to another Facebook Live here at the New England Aquarium. As you can see, Nick and I are somewhere a little bit unique today. We are standing inside of our Shark and Ray touch tank with our amazing aquarist, Audrey. Audrey has been featured in a number of our videos, but I don't know that we've ever given Audrey a proper introduction. So since she's going to teach us some things today, we'll start there. Audrey is one of our interactive exhibits aquarists, and she has many jobs here at the aquarium, but they include things like making sure all of the animals in this exhibit are well fed, maintaining that gorgeous live coral tank that you can see across from our touch tank, and growing up our Blandings turtles when we have them during our Blandings turtles program. So in addition to all of those wonderful things, Audrey helps keep our exhibits looking beautiful and our animals healthy, and we appreciate everything that she does. And today she's going to be teaching us a little bit about the sharks that Marissa is showing you right there. That is one of our Epaulette sharks. And Audrey is going to teach us about how she feeds Epaulette sharks today. And I think Nick might even get to feed a shark or two. And she's going to teach us a little bit about this thing that I have in my hands as well. So I think to start things off, Audrey, it kind of makes sense for you to talk a little bit about the tools you need for dinner time here in the Shark and Ray touch tank.
All right, so we have these awesome tongs that Nick was just showing off. These are actually aquascaping tongs, but they work really well to just getting individual pieces of food directly to specific sharks. And then I also have some food in here that we just take from our food that we feed the rest of the exhibit. And I have them separated out based on certain sharks, and then also the most important part of what we're doing today, and we do this a couple times a week, is we are sneaking vitamins into our sharks.
Amazing.
And then Taylor is holding our ID guide. So what's really cool about all of the animals in this exhibit, but specifically our Epaulette sharks, is that they all have basically microchips, like what you would have in your dog or your cat. So they have specific numbers. We know who everybody is. We can keep really good track of them. Any vet things that happen, where they lived before, who their parents are, anything. And so what's cool about our Epaulettes is also that they have really unique spot patterns. So on the sheet that Taylor has, I put all of the spot patterns of all of our Epaulettes in this exhibit and then associated it with their numbers. So we can keep really good track of who's eating and who's getting their vitamins.
And I'm going to get a little closer to Marissa so she can get you guys a really nice close view of the sheet that we're going to be using. And I've been told my task is to track the food that the Epaulettes are getting and to make sure that I write down when everyone's had their food. So hopefully Audrey's going to help me with that.
Yeah.
But this is the tool that we're also going to use to help it out. And Audrey, can you tell our viewers what kind of food that we feed our sharks in the Shark and Ray touch tank?
Sure. So we feed 9 pounds of food to this exhibit every day, split into 3 feeds. Normally I'm just standing up here and I am just throwing food in, and that's what we call our scatter feed. And they get shrimp, squid, clam, and a few kinds of fish. And during our scatter feeds throughout the week, myself and other aquarists, because we can identify all these animals, we keep track, sometimes physically on a whiteboard behind you, sometimes just kind of in our heads. So today I have marked three specific sharks that we're going to give a little extra food to because they have been a little bit lazier this week, and I just want to make sure that they're getting enough calories as well as their vitamins.
I hate it when I sleep through lunch.
So that changes pretty much every week depending on who's been out a lot and who hasn't. Our sharks lay eggs, so sometimes their appetite is just like they're about to lay some eggs and they just maybe are really hungry, or maybe they're not hungry at all. So we're just going to make sure that we can offer them food. These guys are very territorial. So they'll mostly sit in the same places. So we know exactly where to find them, offer them up some food, and see if they want it or not.
Should we teach Nick how to feed some sharks?
I think we should.
Okay.
Shall we start with this one?
She looks hungry.
Yeah. So Taylor, this Epaulette, she has 2 polka dots on her right pectoral fin. Can you figure out who she is?
2 on her right pectoral fin. It looks like 8927.
Beautiful.
And she is one of your sharks that needs a little extra food today.
Well, clearly she's hungry. So this is her vitamin piece, and I'm just going to see if she'll eat it off of Marissa's leg. There we go.
There she goes.
Wonderful. So she got her vitamin, and now I'm going to give her a couple extra pieces.
Audrey, I don't know if you said this, but do you usually feed her the vitamins first or feed the sharks the vitamins first?
I
But
do
those of you
feed the
guys-
vitamins first.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they'll take one piece and then say, you know what, I'm good. So we want to make sure if they're going to take something that it's going to be that important piece
The most
first.
important piece goes first.
Alrighty. And she is all set.
Check.
So we have at least one over here. And I can almost guarantee this is going to be one of two sharks, because there are two sharks who live over here.
And if it looks like we're walking kind of funny right now, there's a reason for that. You do a little shuffle of your feet in here so that you don't accidentally step on a ray or a shark. And that is a pro tip that we give anyone in any area that there are going to be rays. You always want to shuffle your feet through the sand, but it does make it look like we're waddling a little bit. I do see a couple epaulettes if you
Yep.
look really carefully in the tree roots over there, and then underneath this island.
So
Those
this one under here is going to be the first one on your list. She is 9524, and I assume she only needs a vitamin piece because she has eaten at almost every feed this week. So I will let Nick do the honors. You can take one vitamin piece from there and see if she will take it.
Any of these have
Any of them, yep.
Okay.
And you're good.
And she
Yeah.
got her vitamin.
And I'll take the vitamin cup back. And I'm going to go feed this one.
We're gonna come this way.
I'm going to go this way because her head is over here. Who do we got? This is 4042. And she is turning her nose up at this piece of shrimp.
Do you find that the same sharks are either finicky or not finicky, Audrey, or does it change day to day, week to
It
week?
really changes a lot. And sometimes they'll turn their nose up at a piece of fish. So that's why I always have extra shrimp. Shrimp tends to be a favorite. And she just turned her nose up at both. But she's been eating well this week, so we're just going to leave it. This should be the second one on your list, 4042. And then normally she has a neighbor who is 9888, but she has been living elsewhere this week. And now we can head over to what we call Shark Island. Most
Shark
of our
Island.
sharks live underneath this island. If you're ever wondering, how do you have 20 sharks in this exhibit? I don't see anything. It's because they're lazy and they're sleeping under this island all day.
Yeah, if you're a frequent visitor to the aquarium and you've encountered either aquarists or educators in this space, then and you've been looking for sharks, most likely we've directed you to this as one of the places where you can typically find them in the exhibit.
So this is a shark who, this is her spot. She always lives up here, which is pretty cool because she's usually pretty visible. Sometimes visitors will see her because she has her head out of the water, which is a pretty normal thing for epaulette sharks. In the wild, they live in intertidal zones, and so they are often just walking out of the water into different tide pools. If you've watched some of them kind of walking along the bottom or walking up Marissa's leg, you'll see that they use their pectoral fins, those front fins, to scoot along the bottom.
It's funny you mentioned that, Audrey. I know Taylor would probably concur with this. I've definitely had visitors come up to me in a little bit of distress because they've seen one of our epaulettes either wriggling in the roots with its head out of the water, and normally you would think of that as being a dangerous scenario for a shark, but as you described, pretty cool adaptation that they have.
So Taylor, this shark on her right pectoral fin has 3 dots, almost in like a little half circle.
I see her. Is this 9771?
Sure is.
And it looks like she is getting some extra food today as well.
Yeah, she, although one of our best eaters, you see how fast she grabs all this food, she doesn't like to leave her cozy little spot. Doesn't want anybody else to be able to get it.
It's like Taylor has a friend too down here.
I think that's a friend who already got her vitamin. Nick, do you want to come up here and help me feed some sharks?
Sure. Can I go through this area here?
You
Audrey?
sure can, yep.
Okay.
Just gotta duck down under those mangroves.
Okay.
You're noggin.
All right, so there's a shark to your left, Marissa, that I really want Nick to feed. This one right here.
Oh, I see it.
She gets all of this if you
Whoa.
can. That piece of shrimp first, and then the rest of it if you can.
Okay.
She is our only juvenile shark in here, if you can tease her out. And so we want to make sure she's getting a ton of food so she can grow up.
Okay. Not an easy task, huh?
No.
Huh?
There she goes.
Nope, she turned.
Looks like she might be coming back towards you.
Oh.
Did 9771 get all of her food today?
You bet she did. She always does. And this one has all the teeny tiny little polka dots all over her. And I know she's getting extra food. Right now she got her vitamin and then she scooted away.
8652. Oh, there she is, Nick.
I'm going to scoot out of your way, Nick, so you can try and get a better
Okay.
angle on her.
Here, Sharky. You may pass. Oh, I see you. Oh, wait, come back. Aren't you hungry? Do you find yourself talking to them like I'm doing right now?
Yes.
Sorry to make you admit that on camera.
Well, I was doing this last week and you were
That's
out
right.
here and you totally witnessed me trying to convince her to come out.
That is true.
Nice.
One down. So this is, again,
Yeah,
this is
try
one
and
of our,
rapid fire as quick as
Okay.
you can before she loses interest.
Okay. This is one of our juvenile white-spotted bamboos, right?
Yep,
Audrey?
and that is actually an adult on top of her, so you'll see how different she will look when she's full grown.
Also very interested in some food.
Yes. Well, that cup's next to Nick, so I'm just going to give it a minute.
That was only half your meal. You got more to feed on. It's really a shark pile in here, isn't it?
Just vitamin so far. All right.
Yeah?
We can take a break on her.
Okay.
We
I'll
can
move back
keep
here.
on feeding some of these other ones.
Okay.
Like you.
Someone wants to know, are there more females than males?
Yes. We only have female sharks in this exhibit at the moment, so that we don't have a ton of baby sharks.
I know that's definitely something that we've talked about. Maybe even you have talked about before, Audrey. But
You can take
obviously
both of
that
those?
breeding, it's not necessarily something we don't want to happen. We just want to have control over it, right?
Yes. So we do have male sharks. They live downstairs in holding exhibits. And that way when we have the space for more sharks, or if other institutions need some more sharks, we're able to raise them for them. Both of that? All right. Taylor, you can mark that both of our adult white spotted bamboos have gotten their vitamins. And now this is a shark that we have not fed yet. Do you want to identify her? She's got on both pec fins a nice neat line of polka dots.
9479.
Sure. She's a good eater, so I know I don't need to give her any more. I've seen her a lot this week.
How old is our oldest epaulette?
Our oldest, I think, is probably actually our male epaulette who lives downstairs, who is father to most of these sharks, actually, and he's 19.
Do you have some other questions out there, Marissa?
Yeah. Do they have teeth? How many do they have?
Do epaulette sharks have teeth?
Do
Yes.
epaulette sharks have teeth? Yes.
Yes.
Good question.
But not in the sense that you're thinking a big shark might have teeth. They don't have jagged teeth. All of these animals in here, you might notice, they all have their mouths on the bottom of their bodies. And in the wild, they'd be eating a lot of invertebrates, so things like crabs and shrimps that live on the bottom that they need to crush because they have hard shells. So while they do have teeth, they're more like crushing plates than a sharp tooth. And then they have kind of jagged bits that they can use to move the food back and forth that breaks it up. So if you saw any of them kind of look like they might be like spitting it back out and swallowing it again, that's helping break it up for them.
Chewing.
Do you have any names or nicknames for them other than number?
So many nicknames. For example, these are nicknames, these are what the aquarists call them, because sometimes it's really annoying to try and remember a bunch of numbers. So this particular one of our former aquarists, Kim, raised this shark, and it was designated as like baby shark B, which then turned into B. Arthur. However, she also has beautiful spots that are really spread out very evenly, and one of our aquarists calls her Stevie because even Steven. And I just started calling her Little Dot because she has little dots. So now we call her like Little Dot Stevie B, Stevie B. None of those are official. Most people who we talk to would have no idea what animal we're talking to, but when it comes to feeding these animals, it's sometimes really easy just to have nicknames associated with their numbers.
So it's kind of like your pets at home where you have lots of nicknames even though they have one official name, and for our sharks it happens to be that the official name is a number.
Yes.
Yeah.
perfect analogy.
Do you have any other questions out there, Marissa?
How do you tell their gender?
Nick, do you want to take that one? How do you tell if it's a male shark or a female shark?
I sure would love to, absolutely, yeah. So male sharks have an organ on the bottom of their body that sticks out sort of close to their tail, and that organ is called a pair of claspers. They look like two little long pencils that stick out, and they are very present on a male. You can see them sometimes even from above the shark, although if you got a good look from below, it's very obvious that these are present. They are not present in females. Only males have these claspers. As we've been talking about, and as Audrey confirmed, there aren't any male sharks in this tank right now, right, Audrey? That's correct?
No.
So you're not going to notice any of those claspers on the sharks, but there is one male ray in the tank. That's one of our leopard whiptail rays. And so if you do get a chance to check him out, you can see those claspers a little bit underneath the first part of his tail, sticking out beneath the main part of his body, his disc.
How many epaulette sharks do we have in here?
There are 7 on exhibit, and we have 2 full-grown adults downstairs. I mentioned the male, and then he also has a breeding partner down there with him. And then I don't even know how many others we have that are juveniles or babies growing up downstairs.
May I have your attention? A lot.
A lot.
This is the short answer today. Half an hour.
Taylor, I have 2 vitamin pieces left. Can you tell me which 2 sharks are left on your list? I know one is 9888. Who's the other?
4042.
Oh, I fed her. I thought I did. Is she the second one on the list? Oh no, I didn't feed her. I tried to feed her. She didn't want it. That makes sense. All right. I think we are all set then, because there's another shark who's too deep for us to reach right now.
Nick, do you want to sign us off?
I think, did we answer all of our questions, Taylor? Did we have a couple questions to ask too? No?
We answered them all.
I answered them all. Okay, yeah. Well, thank you very much, Audrey, for sharing this experience with us. This is really cool to get a chance to see what it's like to feed our sharks and why it's so important to do things like track how much they're eating and using helpful guides like you created that Taylor's been manning there to track which shark has eaten already. If you guys come to the aquarium during the week, you may actually get a chance to see Audrey in the tank doing this very thing, feeding our sharks, or maybe doing some other things as well. It's not her only job. But we definitely encourage you to come and check that out. If you have any questions and Audrey is able, she may even answer your questions as well. Well, thank you guys for tuning in so much. Great to see you all. It's always great to see some of the important and really cool care that our aquarists put into taking really good care of all these animals. Our high level of care that we provide our animals. So it's great to see a little insight into that. Thank you guys for tuning in.